So to construct an angle bisector, you're going to start by putting your compass on the vertex of the given angle, and you're going to construct an arc that intersects the sides of the angle. And there's an illustration here. So you have your, focus it. You have your angle. You're going to make an arc so that it intersects the angle, similar to what we did when we were constructing congruent angles. And then what we're going to do is similar to the perpendicular bisector. You're going to put your compass on the points of intersection, so right here and here where our arc intersected. You're going to put your compass there, and you're going to draw another arc outside of the angle with the same setting. You're going to use the other endpoint, and the two arcs will intersect, so like this picture. Okay? And then just a note, be sure they intersect. So make sure you draw them big enough so that they intersect with each other. That intersection point is where we're going to draw the bisector. So from the vertex through that intersection point. So we're going to label it and draw a ray through the vertex and the intersection point. Okay. So we're going to do this together. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, take your compass and you're going to put the point on the vertex of your angle, and you can really open it as small or as wide as you want. It just has to make sure that it intersects the two lines. So where mine is looks pretty good. So I'm going to draw an arc. Oops, my compass moved. I'm going to draw an arc that intersects both legs of the angle. Guys, I'm having technical difficulties today. Come on. Okay, hold on. Let me erase it and let me start over. I think it's not open. Are you having the same problem? It's just my compass is loose and my paper keeps sliding. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, there it is. Okay. Okay, so you're going to draw an arc. Let me see. I'm trying to make the lines dark enough so that you guys can see them. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to use those points of intersection with the angle as your starting points. And you can leave your compass in the same setting, or you can make it smaller, wider. It really doesn't matter because they're going to intersect anyway. So we're going to put the compass on the point of intersection, and we're going to draw an arc so that it goes outside. Maybe I just need to get a new compass. Who's over there? Kiki, do you want to grab me a new compass? This one is really loose. So I'm going to draw an arc. And then without changing the setting, you're going to draw another arc using the other intersection point. And they should intersect. I can put my pencil in it. I just need a compass that's not quite so loose. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay. And then now that we have an intersection, you can draw a ray between the vertex and the intersection. Okay. Yeah, and then it cuts it into 2 equal size pieces. So what I want you guys to do is practice 11 and 12. Who's absent today? Who's that? Kalina. Mackenzie. Yep, do it on the next ones. And make sure you keep your markings because the markings are like showing your work, okay? So when I ask you on a test or quiz to do a perpendicular, or sorry, an angle bisector, I'm going to be looking for this big arc and these 2 intersections. So make sure that you keep your markings. And then I'm going to do this last one really quick. How do you guys feel about it? Okay. I know it's a little frustrating. Hopefully practicing on your homework helped take some of that frustration away. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes before we move on. I just looked up and saw him and started. Yes. Okay, you guys, let's move on to 11.6, just so that you have enough time to practice all of these. So, we have no more vocabulary. But we are going to be doing 3 more constructions, and then you're going to be using everything you know to do constructions of shapes. Right, so we're going to be constructing parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel are lines that never intersect. Perpendicular lines are the lines that intersect at a right angle. So we're going to start with parallel lines. To construct a parallel line, you are going to pick 2 points on the given line. It can be any 2 points and label them. Or usually they might be given for you. And what you're going to do is you are going to draw the line that goes through just one of the points and the given point. So when I mean the given point, I mean the point off the line. So what you're going to be given is it's going to say construct a line that is parallel to line L through point N. So you're going to make 2 points on line L unless they're given to you already. Parallel. It does not have to be perpendicular. And you're going to draw a line through one of those points and the point that's off the line. And then what we're going to do is we are going to construct an angle using our copying an angle steps from 10.1 that is congruent to the angle that you just made, and you're going to label the new line. So when we draw a line here, there's an angle that's formed, right? What you are going to do is you are going to use your copying an angle strategy from 10.1 that we did on Friday to construct a congruent angle through this point. Okay, and then you're going to draw the line. It's not too bad. So here is how we are going to do it. First thing, let's look at number 1. I notice that they already give us the points, and point A is closer to point J, so I'm just going to draw a line through those. Okay. And to copy an angle, we have to first make an arc that goes through and intersects. So make sure that it's smaller than where point J is, and draw an arc that intersects both lines through A. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw the same arc through point J. So using the same compass setting, take your compass and go straight up to J and do this exact same thing, make the exact same arc. Okay, so the arc that you made from point A, do the exact same thing from point J, make the same arc. And then we need to know how wide to make that opening. So I'm going to take my compass and I'm going to open it to the width of the opening from the intersection points. So everybody take your compass and open it to the width of the opening. So I'm going to mark that right there just so we know that's where we went from. And you do the exact same thing up here. So just slide it right up to the intersection point that was made. And make that. Okay, so if you're lost, I'm going to do it again. We made an arc that intersected both lines through the vertex A, and then I made the exact same arc through J. Okay, so I made that arc. Then we need to know how wide to make the angle. So I measured from the intersection point to the opening of the other intersection point, and I made a mark there just so that it mirrors what I'm looking for, and then all I did was slide it up to the second intersection point and made the exact same arc. Okay, so through this intersection point and point J we draw the line, and it should come out parallel to line AB. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is do number 2, practice. Sometimes for me, it helps to turn my paper so that the line is flat. Okay, I'm going to leave the steps up here. Work together, help each other. Yeah. Huh? Hold on 1 second, okay? We need to change our clock.
10:16.
10:16. Oh my God. Okay, I will send them over.
Who are you?
Hey, what's that?
Hey guys, let's do this one together because some people are having problems and their lines aren't intersecting. So, in the right spot. So I'm going to turn my paper so that the line is flat, and point Y is closer to point K, so I'm going to draw the line through those 2 points. So if you got it, you're good, but if you need help, you need to be paying attention. And then you need to construct an arc, and the arc should be between points Y and K. So when I make my arc, it shouldn't go wider than point K, and we need it to intersect through line XY. So you need to make sure that it intersects both lines, here and here. Okay? Using the same compass setting, just slide it on up to point K and do the exact same thing. Oops. Okay? Is everybody with me? The second part of this is we need to measure how wide the angle is. So from our point of intersection here and our other point of intersection here, we need to measure how wide that angle is. So we open our compass, put a mark, and then we do the exact same thing. We slide our compass up, and wherever it intersects the arc, that's going to be our spot. So right here, and my arc here, I need to extend just a little bit. Okay, so they intersect right here. So when I draw the line through them, it should come out parallel. Oh, I missed the point, but so they're not parallel, but you guys get the idea. Okay? Yeah, it's close enough. Right? Okay? So that's parallel lines. Yes. Doesn't matter. The steps are the same, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys, we have to move on, so let's go. We also are going to be constructing two types of perpendicular lines. There's more than one way to construct them. So sometimes I will give you a segment with a point on the segment, and I will say construct a construct a perpendicular line through that point that's on the line. Sometimes I will give you a point off the line and ask you to construct a perpendicular through that point. And the steps are similar, but a little bit different because of where the point is. So we're going to start with perpendicular at a point. So when I give you a line that has a point on it, you're going to start by constructing 2 points on the line that are equidistant. Equa meaning equal, distant meaning distance from the given point, and I will show you how to do that, okay? Then what you are going to do is open your compass wider than it is, so the opening is greater than half the segment length, okay? Those two endpoints that you make, you are going to use one of them. So using one of the endpoints, you're going to draw an arc above the given point. And then using the same compass setting, you're going to use the other endpoint to draw an arc that intersects the one you already did. It's very similar to the bisector. And then you're going to draw a line through the intersection and the given point. Okay, this one's pretty simple. It's very similar to the bisector, except that you have to make the endpoints, basically. Okay, so the example is on the next page. So number 3, we're going to construct a perpendicular at a point. So you're going to take your compass. We need to construct a segment so that P is the midpoint. So basically how you do that is you pick an opening on your compass using P as the where your end is. You draw an arc, and then you just flip it around and draw another arc. So you're drawing an arc, not changing your compass setting. Does that make sense? So using P as the end, you're going to draw an arc, and then you're just going to flip it around and do another arc. So we know that those arcs are equally distant from point P. Right? Okay. And we're going to use those endpoints. So now we've constructed a segment, and we're going to use those endpoints to draw another arc, but we have to make it bigger than half or else they won't intersect. So putting your compass on one of those endpoints, open it so that it's a little wider than half. Draw an arc above. and then flip it over. Draw an arc above using the other endpoint. Same compass setting. There's your perpendicular. It's exactly the same as the bisector, except that you have to make the endpoints so that you can bisect that segment. Just, well then, if we didn't want it to meet at a 90 degree, we could just do this. Okay. For the sake of time, guys, I'm going to give you the steps for the next one, and then I'm going to let you practice, okay? We do have our very postulate for this unit that through a point not on a line, there is one and only one line perpendicular to the given line. So if I'm looking at line L, there is only one line that's perpendicular to line L through point P, which should make sense. You can't have multiple perpendicular lines because a perpendicular means 90 degrees only, right? Okay, so we can use this to draw a perpendicular through a point not on the line. This one I think is the most fun, but it's the most steps when you write it all out. So what you're going to do is you're going to open your compass to a size greater than the distance from the point to the line. So however far this point is to the line, I need my compass to be greater than that. And you're going to draw an arc from the point. So using the point as your end, you're going to draw an arc that intersects the given line. So we're going to draw a big old loop. And then we're going to do exactly what we've been doing. You're going to put the compass on one of the intersection points and draw an arc. Using the same compass setting, you will use the other endpoint to draw an arc that intersects the one you just did. And then we draw a line through the intersection and the given point. Okay. So these perpendiculars are all very, very similar to how you do them. So that's why we're going to do both of these. And then I'll give you guys some time to practice on 4 and 6. And then we're going to do shapes together. So now we're going to take, after this, we're going to take everything that we know and put it together into drawing shapes. So let's do number 5. I'm going to use point P as my end point. So put the end of your compass on point P, and you need to open it so that it's wider than the distance. So because we're going to make a big arch. But make sure that it will actually intersect. That'll work. Okay? So you're going to make an arch from point P that intersects the line. Make sure it actually intersects. And then using whatever compass setting you want, put your compass on one of the intersection points, draw a little arch, or arc, sorry, and then slide it over to the other intersection point and do another arc, and they should intersect. Okay, so using whatever compass setting you want, you're going to put your compass on one of the endpoints and draw an arc, and then same compass setting, flip it to the other endpoint, draw a second arc, and they should intersect. And then you connect them. Should be perpendicular. has to do with where, I mean, you could go this way, I guess. You would just go off the paper. So here's what I want you guys to do. Practice 4 and 6 for me. So do 4 and 6. 4 is on the previous page. We skipped it. Do 4 and 6. I'm going to just give you a couple minutes because 7, 8, and 9, we're going to construct some shapes, and I think we need to do those together. So I want to make sure that everybody is comfortable. It's not scary. So here, let me put, here's 3 and 5 so that you have something to go off of for 4 and 6. Okay? So that's how we did 3 and 5, and now do 4 and 6. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, I'm going to go do these really quick. So, number 4, we have to start by making a segment so that we have endpoints to go from. So my compass is going to be kind of small on this one, and I'm going to do a point and a point. So I have 2 endpoints, and then exactly like a bisector, we're going to use those endpoints. Open your compass wider than half. To make an arc that intersects and then connect them. Oh, something happened to my compass. It didn't work. There. It shouldn't look like that. Okay? Mine did not intersect in the right spot. There we go. Okay. And then for number 6, similar, we have to make endpoints for us to work off of. So using the point that's not on the line, you draw a big ol' arc that intersects, and using those points as your next starting point, you make 2 arcs that intersect. And then connect the dots. Okay, and there's your perpendicular. Perpendiculars aren't too bad, right? probably the easiest kind to do. So we're going to take that information that we know and we're going to start constructing other shapes. You can construct squares and rectangles using perpendicular and parallel lines. So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to construct a square with this side length. So I give you a side length and we're going to construct a square. Now I only give you one side length because what do we know about squares? They're all the same size. So what we're going to do is we're going to first have to make a starting segment. First thing before we can do anything else is draw a ray. So somewhere we need to draw a straight line Give yourself some room. And we need a place to start, right? So pick a point. I don't care where it is. Let's say here. On the ray as our starting point. And can we make a segment that's the same size as point A? Yes. So open your compass to the length of point A. And using your endpoint, construct point A. Hope I have enough room. Okay. So, now I have one side of my square. What else do we know about squares? All the angles are what type of angle? 90 degrees. So I need to make a perpendicular through this point and a perpendicular through this point. Okay? That's exactly what we just did, constructing a perpendicular, not that one, this one, through a point, right? So what we do is we take our compass setting. I would make it a little smaller just so that it's easier to work with. And you draw an arc on both sides of your point. So using this point as my midpoint, I make an arc on both sides. Here and here. And then I need an intersection above. So you have to open your compass a little wider and using those two intersection points that we just found, make another arc. And there's your perpendicular. So we have the perpendicular line. Oh, I missed it. Oh well. You get the idea. Is everybody good with that? So my next question, how do I know how long to make that segment? Well, we're going to make another perpendicular, but this line also has to have a segment that's the same length as A. So where's that going to go? We have to copy A again, right? Okay, so copy A again using the line we just made. And put a point there. So we know that this segment is also the same length as A. According to my measurements. Yeah. And then this one. Yep, they're the same. Is everybody good? You see what I did? Okay. What do we do next? We do it all again using this point to the other side, okay? So you have to make, we have to make endpoints. So using the other corner, make an arc on both sides of it, right? And then open your compass wider than that distance and use the two intersections as your new endpoints to find where the perpendicular line goes. There, that's actually perpendicular. It's still not a square.
You have to copy segments.
We have to copy segment A again. So open your compass to segment A one last time. Find the intersection, and then you can connect them. We got a square. With a ton of what in it? Mess. Yes, but you have to leave them. Because that's how I know that you actually constructed it and didn't just do whatever you wanted to do. We do the same thing twice, basically. So after we copied segment A here, we constructed a perpendicular through this point. So I made an arc, found the intersection, and then I copied segment A from here to here, and I drew the line. And then I know that the distance between this point and this point is A because they're perpendicular, right? So then you can just connect them. If I gave you, and I think your homework has it, it wants you to construct a rectangle and it gives you a short side and a long side. You do the exact same thing. You just have to copy, you only end up copying the short segment once and the long segment twice. So it's just different lengths. Okay? Let's do right triangle. Yay! Positive. This one is easier. Okay, right triangle, and I want it to have these two side lengths. So the legs are the flat part, and if it's a right triangle, what type of angle does it form?
Right.
A right angle, so we're going to make a perpendicular, and then the hypotenuse we'll just draw it after we're done. So we start with a ray again. So draw a line on your paper. Somewhere in the middle, pick a point. I don't really care where. And I'm going to have B be the bottom. Is everybody okay with that? Because I have more space going this way. So copy segment B. So there's segment B. And then we have to construct a right angle for my triangle. You can construct your right angle through this point or through this point. I don't really care. In my answer key, I did it through this point, so that's what I'm going to do. So here's what I did. We have to make endpoints. So I construct an arc to make endpoints. So I'm just doing a perpendicular through a point on the line. And then I use those endpoints, but I open my compass wider and I construct my perpendicular bisector. You could do the same thing through this point. It's not going to matter. Your triangle will just be flipped from mine. And how long does that segment need to be, guys? A. So we copy segment A on that line. And draw your hypotenuse. There's your triangle. Isn't that awesome? I think one of your homework assignments, I just give you 3 lines, and I want you to construct a triangle using those 3 lines. So I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. Yes? If you did it going the other way, it's the same triangle, it's just flipped. It's okay. It's okay. You could have had this one be A and the long one be up this way. It doesn't matter. Okay? Last thing. Construct a 45 degree and a 22.5 degree angle. Let's think about this. We know how to construct perpendiculars, right? How many degrees is that? 90. And then what? Cut it in half, and that gives you 45. And how do we get 22.5? Cut that one in half. So let's do it. So draw a line to start. Let's pick a point anywhere on this line. It does not matter. I'm going to pick the middle. Ish. Towards the middle. Who can help me out? What's the first step of constructing a perpendicular through that point? Jen. We need to make endpoints. So open your compass. It does not matter how wide. And make 2 endpoints for me. Here's an endpoint. Here's an endpoint. Now what? Yep. Yep, make it wider than half and do 2 arcs on the top so they intersect. Okay, there's our 90-degree angle. You might have to go back into your notes, but what I want you to do is bisect it. So you can do any of the angles. I don't really care which of the angles you choose, but bisect it to make a 45 degree. So go. You might have to look back in your notes. An angle bisector. Yes, bisect it twice.
On both sides or just one?
Just on one side. So you're gonna bisect the 90 degrees to get a 45 degree, and then you're gonna bisect the 45 degree. Check your notes to figure out the bisector. And then you bisect it again. So you're gonna have tons of, yeah, that's right. You're gonna have tons of markings on here, basically. Jen, yeah. Nope. Does not matter. As long as you show your work by showing me your, this side, that's fine. Done. Okay. I know if you're not done, that's okay. Keep working. I'm going to walk around and pass out your homework. But that's the whole unit. So you guys need to know, especially those basic constructions, copying a line, bisecting an angle, copying an angle. So for the test, you have to have the steps memorized. So you need to make sure you practice. Okay?